Now, Matthew Kroenig is a professor in the Department of Government and the Edmund Walsh School of Foreign Service at Georgetown University. He joins us now live from Washington. Thank you very much, Professor, for joining us here on TRT World. Now, some Russian news agencies are reporting that the port city of Mariupol is under full Russian control now. At the same time, the U.S. has announced $800 million in additional military assistance to Ukraine. Tell me, is a major escalation inevitable now in Ukraine?
I think we are looking toward a major conflict in eastern Ukraine. Russia's initial strategy of trying to take Kiev, trying to take the entire country hasn't worked. So it's really focusing now on the south and especially the east of the country. So this is going to be a different type of conflict. The Javelin anti-tank missiles, the Stinger anti-aircraft missiles aren't going to be as helpful for Ukraine. They're going to need a different type of capabilities. They're going to need armor and artillery. And that's what the Biden administration is promising to provide in this latest package. So I do think we're looking toward a major military clash now in the Donbass region and in the eastern part of Ukraine.
Now, Professor, when the UN chief was asked today whether or not a humanitarian ceasefire is possible in the country, his response was not so hopeful. So tell me, do you think the two sides can still pursue some sort of diplomatic avenues to bring this crisis to an end, or is it too late?
I think it's too soon. I think both sides still believe that they can improve their position on the battlefield. I think the Russians think they can consolidate their gains in the east and the south. And I think the Ukrainians are hoping that with the help of Western aid, they can push the Russians out altogether. So neither side is in a position where they're feeling like cutting a deal. I think both sides are going to try to improve their position on the ground. And it's not until we get into a real stalemate on the battlefield that I think we'll see serious diplomatic talks. So unfortunately, I'm predicting more fighting, probably for months.
Okay, you predict more fighting, but tell me, how likely is it for this to turn into a protracted war?
I think a protracted war is one possibility. Of course, that's not the goal of the West. I think the West would like to try to help Ukraine win a decisive victory over Russia. I think the Russians, of course, want to try to firmly defeat Ukraine in the east. So the possibility is that this turns into a protracted war, a frozen conflict. We have seen a frozen conflict, of course, in the Donbass since 2014 and in northern Georgia and Transnistria. So that's a possibility that this becomes a stalemate, a frozen conflict for years. My best guess, though, is that we will see intense fighting for several months, in which point the situation on the battlefield will clarify and we'll have a better sense if peace is possible at that point.
All right, Matthew Kroenig, thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World.
Thank you.